Hello. In this training video, you'll be shown how to use the Tier 2 reporting application. This application is where you'll create, submit, and export Tier 2 reports. Before being able to begin, you'll need to have a personal steers account and successfully added the application to your account. You can find guidance on setting this up on the Tier 2 access rules training video. The Tier 2 reporting application is used to create and access Tier 2 reports. Users can create or access Tier 2 reports for any CN they have access to. When selecting the Tier 2 reporting application from your steers homepage, the landing page will be different depending on whether you have access to one CN on your account or multiple. For users that have access to multiple CNs, they'll be taken to their Tier 2 account list, where they can select which CN they need to access. While users that have access to only one CN will be taken directly to the reports list page, where they can see their current draft Tier 2 reports and previously submitted reports. The simplest way to tell whether a report has been submitted or is a draft is to look in the certification date column. If there is no date present, then this is a draft report. The Tier 2 reporting application has a fixed menu on the left-hand side of the page that lists different processes that can be accessed. The first of these is the Tier 2 account button, which will allow users with access to multiple CNs to switch between them. You then have the facility search option, where you can conduct a search for previously submitted facility reports, and the report search option where you can search for submitted or draft reports. Below this, you have the Add Draft Report button, which is used to create your draft reports, and the Add Contact to Multiple Facilities function, which can be used to add a contact to facilities that are already present on a draft report. Finally, if you hold the primary role for your CN, you'll have the Authorize Users for Account option showing, which is where you'll go to manage requests from users requesting the secondary or preparer role. If you ever need to return to the reports list landing page, you can select the Report Search option and select the List All button at the bottom of the page. Alternatively, you can search for specific reports using the different data fields present on the previous page. To create a draft report, you will select the Add Draft Report option and select the report type from the drop-down list. Annual and initial reports will allow new facilities or chemicals to be added, so do not select the update report type if you'll need to do either. You can also provide a report title that will make it easier to track this draft report if you'll be creating multiple at a time. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the Add Existing Facilities button, which will pull up a list of facility RNs that have been properly affiliated to your CN and TXT2 number and are not already present on another draft report. Here you can see that the facility that we generated a RN for and affiliated to our CN in our previous Tier 2 Core Data training video is showing as being able to be added to this draft report. Select your desired facilities and press Select before saving to generate a draft report with the selected facilities. Now that you've created your draft Tier 2 report, you'll see the report detail page and notice that this is a draft Tier 2 account report. This page lists all of your account information, report information, and the list of the facilities that you selected. You can always add additional facilities with the Add Existing Facility button, or a transfer facility that is present on another draft report with the Transfer Facility button. To begin filling out your facility report, you can select the facility RN from the facilities list, which will take you to the facility detail page for that site. On the facility detail page, you'll see the three different sections of this facility report marked as three tabs: the Facility, Chemicals, and Contacts tabs. Beginning on the Facility tab, you'll need to fill out all required information, including whether the facility is staffed, subject to a risk management plan, or subject to 302. If a facility has a chemical that is designated as an extremely hazardous substance, present at quantities that surpass the threshold planning quantity, then the facility would be subject to 302. We will be adding chlorine as a stored chemical at this site with quantities above the threshold planning quantity, or TPQ, so I will proactively mark this as yes. See the list of EHSs available on our webpage to see these threshold amounts. You'll also need to have a valid NAICS code entered and accurate location information in the form of a valid address or detailed driving directions. At this point, you'll need to fill in the relevant fire department information for this facility. You'll also see the effective date and expiration date fields on this tab. These dates are when the facility was first opened, and then when it was no longer required to report if you need to close out your facility for Tier 2 purposes. If an expiration date is entered, you'll need to provide an explanation, and once that date has come and gone, you'll no longer see this facility as being able to be added to a draft report unless you specifically mark your search to include inactive facilities. You'll need to save any changes that are being made before proceeding to your chemical information. Moving on to the Chemicals tab, you will see a section that will list your chemicals and a section for attachments. You can press the Choose File button to select a file to upload, such as a site plan or map. While not required, a site plan can be a useful tool for satisfying the chemical storage location descriptions, one of the most commonly found issues with submitted Tier 2 reports. To add a chemical, you will select the Add button, which will take you to a blank Add Facility Chemical page. On this page, you will see the option to select a chemical, which will bring up the chemical search pop-up. Search for your desired chemical using its name or CAS number. If your chemical does not show up using either of these options, you can select the back button to manually input your chemical name. If your chemical is classified as an EHS, you must use the chemical search function. You will then fill in all of the information on this page, paying special attention to the listed storage quantities and storage locations. You will need to provide both the average and maximum storage amounts for the listed chemical. When adding chemical storage locations, you will want to provide detailed information that would allow someone unfamiliar with the facility to know where that chemical is stored. Once you have filled in all of this information, you will save the page and press back to return to the facility detail page. You should now see your added chemical showing on this page. You can always select the chemical name to modify the provided information. Now that you have completed your facility and chemical information, you can proceed to the Contacts tab. This page will list your facility contacts and allows you to add new contacts. To add a contact, select the Add button to create a blank contact record. If you have already created the desired contact on another facility, you can press the Select Existing Contact button to search for them and auto-populate all of the required fields. Otherwise, you'll need to fill in the contact's name and contact information. The contact's roles that are required to be on a facility to pass validation is the emergency, owner-operator, Tier 2 information, and billing contact types. Additionally, if your facility is subject to 302 due to having an EHS chemical, you'll also need a facility emergency coordinator contact type. Both emergency and facility emergency coordinator contacts require 2 unique phone numbers to be provided. There can also be only 1 billing contact per draft report. So all facilities that are submitted on a single draft report will share the same billing contact. Different draft reports can list different billing contacts, and each submission will have a billing account number associated with it based on the listed billing contact. Once you have entered in the desired contact information, you will press Save and press Back to return to the Contacts tab. Continue to add contacts until all required roles are filled. Keep in mind that one person can hold multiple role types. Once you have completed all 3 sections of this facility report, you can press the Back button to return to the report detail page. When you have properly filled out and updated all facility reports on the draft report, you are ready to begin the submission process. To begin, you'll want to select the Validate Report Data button at the bottom of the page to have the system check for any formatting errors or missing information in your report. If issues are found, you'll see a report attachment section appear with a PDF error log available for download that will list out the necessary corrections, separated by which facility has the issue. If your draft report has a large number of facilities on it, this validation process will not happen immediately, and a background job will be started. Once this process has been completed, you should receive an email informing you of its status. Once your draft report has passed validation with no errors, you're ready to select the Start Submission button. On the resulting submission page, you'll need to mark the certifying statement and then fill in the signature, title, and password blocks. The password is the same password that is used to sign into your steers account. When ready, you can select the Submit button and wait for the loading wheel to fully process and take you to your confirmation of submittal page. The confirmation of submittal page will show that your report was successfully submitted to the TCEQ, and the provided document will include a statement to this effect. You can save this document and keep it for your records, as it will include details about which facilities were submitted on this report and fee details if it was an initial or annual report. If you have payment questions, you can contact our cashier's office and provide them the AR account number listed on this document to allow them to pull up your account information. At the bottom of this page, you will see a section covering the fee details and the ability to pay now. That will take you to our ePay website if you would like to pay your submission fees online. Alternatively, a paper invoice will be generated and mailed to the billing contact that was listed on the submitted report. Now that you have submitted your report, you will need to export copies of it to be sent to the 2 other entities that Tier 2 reports must be submitted to in Texas: your local fire station and your LEPC. You can search for the nearest fire station or LEPC using the links available on our website. See our next video for guidance on exporting submitted facility reports.